You're listening to The Swingdom, the champion podcast of the year. 2 guys, 28 clubs, 0 putts given, with your hosts, Ben Ridner and Gunnar Kane.
I got to watch golf.
You darn right we did. That was fantastic.
It was really nice. It wasn't the outcome I expected, especially with the way that Ricky Fowler and Matthew Wolff just. But you know what? We'll get into that later. I don't want to talk about the outcome.
Mm-mm.
I need more golf.
Golf is so good.
That was Sunday night golf. Like, that's how it should be. But there wasn't any Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. I don't know if I could do this anymore.
This is ridiculous.
I need more golf.
That there's not more golf.
My eyeballs are sweating.
Can we just have more golf?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, please.
You have fun watching that?
Oh, I had so much fun watching real golf. Plus, there were a bunch of good players. I was just so excited.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was cool. It was cool to have like some interaction as well.
I know we did everything on Hot Mic, so go check out Hot Mic, download the app, invite code GOLF, 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 the thing you're watching, the thing you're listening to, us talk about golf, and then look for the Swingdom and find out what we're commenting on. It's really good.
We've got to do an actual podcast now, so ready?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
You're listening to The Swingdom, the champion podcast of the year. 2 guys, 28 clubs, 0 putts given, with your hosts, Ben Ridner and Gunnar Kane.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to The Swingdom. I'm Ben Ridner. I am a 10.4 handicap still. That'll probably change on Tuesday. I play Cobra Clubs, so a bit of Cleveland's just for fun. I'm here with Gunnar Kane, 8 handicap, Titleist with some Cobras in the bag. We just finished watching golf for the first time in 2.5 months.
I know that. I'm speechless.
It wasn't as much of a release as like watching a full tournament and be able to like fall asleep in a chair and wake up when it matters.
Right.
But it was cool because I think we just witnessed the future of golf.
Look, Matthew Wolff stepped his game up today.
Yeah, he did.
And you know what, I know we're going to talk about this in depth in a little bit.
Yeah.
But holy smokes, I mean, that really went into extra holes, and it was won. But I mean, that was like, it ended up, you were on the edge of your seat for this whole thing, and it was fantastic to watch. Man, I'm just so excited that golf's back.
Yeah. Golf next weekend. It's not full tournament status, but we've got more golf to watch next weekend, which is super exciting.
That's the one I'm really excited about.
Yeah, so we should probably preface this with saying we've just come off of broadcasting on Hot Mic, which is an app you can get on your phone, where you can listen to us as commentators while you watch golf on your own television.
Right.
So you can turn down Mike Tirico, you can turn down Jim Nantz, you can turn down Sanzi.
You can turn down Donald Trump. We'll get to that later.
And not even in a political way. It's just like,
it's not what it was about. You can turn down. We'll
get into
everybody.
It later because I don't want to be political about it. I don't at all.
Right.
Next week we've got the match. So we've got Tom Brady, the other Manning brother, Tiger Woods.
That would be Peyton Manning, by the way, and for all you sports fans out there.
And Phil Mickelson.
That's right.
They're going to be playing. Yeah, they're going to be playing. Are they playing 4? They're playing like in a modified 4-ball alternate shot, and they're playing just up the road from Seminole. Medalist. They're playing at Medalist.
Yes, Medalist.
Yeah, sorry, I almost said Medina, and I was like, that's way wrong.
No, they did not play at Medina.
What happened in golf this week that we need to talk about?
Let me tell you. So I think so there's 2 things that have happened since we last recorded. And So do you want to go with the most interesting or the most
Yeah, let's go with the most interesting.
yeah, let's go with the most interesting.
Yeah.
But so the most interesting thing is that Brooks Koepka back in the news. Who would have
Why
thought?
won't he go away?
Well, I'll tell you why he won't go away.
Like, just show up at the majors, beat the last 20 guys, go home, go away.
Well, he can't go away because Brooks Koepka is too busy throwing darts at a dartboard with Brandel Chambly's face on it. So what do you think about that, Ben?
First, I want to say my hands are covering my face.
Oh my gosh, I know. Hands to the face.
You know what? This is going to sound a bit dramatic. This is going to sound, and I don't want this to sound inappropriate.
I can't wait.
But I just think Jenna's got a hold of his Instagram. And I think Jenna's got this idea in her head, which is like, if he's not out there making money on tour, like we can make some serious money on Instagram. Like, let's start being a bit more vocal than we need to be. And yes, he's got 4 more majors as Brandel Chambly, but I'm pretty sure they have the same amount of PGA wins. I think they each have 1.
Right.
Like,
no, Brooks has 2. 1, 2.
He's got 1 win. He's got a WGC. So we'll give him 2.
That's right. So we'll give him 2.
And I'm not trying to but if you've got this much free time, go work at a food bank. Like, don't print out a picture of Brandel Chambly and waste perfectly good colored ink on a picture of that guy.
Right.
Like, just go do something productive. Like, this is going to sound crazy because I'm never his biggest fan, but like Bryson DeChambeau is like giving away signed shoes to people on the front lines of this pandemic. And as a gesture, even if those people don't keep those shoes, if they sell signed Bryson shoes, like, he's helping.
Right.
He's helping people in the worst situation they're probably going to be in their lifetimes.
Absolutely.
I think that Brooks at his house in Florida, getting his Jones out by being vindictive towards analysts, it's funny, but it's mostly just a giant waste of time and energy.
It's such a waste of time. Can I get real close to the mic on this one? You've won 4 majors.
Like,
you know what I mean?
He must be in like the top 20 of most majors won.
I mean, stop it. Just stop. Look, Brandel Chambly has an opinion. That's his job. That's our job too. Yeah. Now, will I say that I'd be super thrilled to see Brooks Koepka throwing darts at my face? Yep.
Yeah, we get a ton more followers.
Absolutely. Would that solidify us doing a podcast for the next 15 years? Yep. But Brandel Chambly, okay, is obviously
he's angry at everybody. He's angry at everybody.
Leave him alone. Oh my goodness. Get over it. I mean, what are you're going to throw darts at my face because I told you your fake Michelob Ultra ad on that radio show was ridiculous? Go ahead.
Hope so.
Fine. Throw darts at my face, solidify my career in golf commentating, and Ben and I will ride off into the sunset.
That's all we need. We just need one.
We just need you.
We need one pro golfer to mention us by name.
Brooks, can you just throw darts at our face? Please.
I'll smile real big for that picture. I'll do whatever you want me to do.
It didn't do anything for you, Brooks Koepka. Go out and practice golf. Oh my gosh. I just got upset. I got actually mad.
I'm not mad, but you're right. Like,
excuse me while I erase this off my big board.
He's won 4 majors, which is unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. But he is now getting more popular as a socialite. than as a golfer, because to be perfectly honest,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know what he can do after this knee surgery. We're all waiting to see what he's going to do after this knee surgery. And what he's shown us on the course so far has been ugly.
Well, he can't win on the regular season. He only steps it up for majors. Is that what he's going to do? He said, I just play my best golf in the majors. What's he going to do? He's going to play the same amount. He's going to play the same level of golf during the majors as he does during the regular season. And then
he always steps it up. He always steps it up. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But this is the conversation every single person has. Every single person that I know who likes golf, even in the most minimalist sort of way, and I apologize for cutting you off, Gunnar. I really am.
No, you're fine.
Is would you rather be Dustin Johnson or would you rather be Brooks Koepka?
I'd rather be Dustin Johnson. And before we continue, I'm getting real close to the mic for this one.
Okay.
If your name is Brooks,
sounds
Koepka,
like you're doing the light at night, like, hello, Brooks. Jenna's sending you out a message. It's
100%. 100%. This is important. Dear Brooks Koepka.
Yeah.
Stop talking. Go play golf.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I can't stand. You know what?
No, but I feel like I made this
Ridiculous.
point. I feel like we've had too much coffee.
Too much coffee, and Brooks Koepka won't stay out of the news.
Yeah, that's true, and I get that. I just brought this up, but every single person I talk to who says anything about golf would have rather have been on tour for 12 years and won once a year than to have been on tour for 4 years and won 4 majors.
Yeah,
and Koepka's going to go down in history as like, I sort of feel like he's going to be where Jordan Spieth is 2 or 3 years from now, which is something's going to happen.
Yep.
The perfect alignment of stars isn't going to go his way. He's not going to know how to work his way out of it.
Man, he had it all put together, and then what happened?
He's got to have he had knee surgery this year.
We still haven't put it together for Jordan Spieth, so who's to say we're going to put it together for Brooks Koepka?
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I am as big of a fan of golf in general as I am. I'm almost to the point with Brooks Koepka as I am with Patrick Reed, where I'm just tired of hearing about it. Just either switch your tone up or stop.
Well, the thing is like Patrick Reed has been out of the news since the last tournament.
Right, and who took over?
Brooks.
Right, exactly. So what are they going to flip-flop back and forth? I mean, before Patrick Reed, all we had was
the thing is, right, is
Bubba
Patrick
Watson getting upset over everything, and that's
fine. No, you're right. Like 2 years ago, it was like Bubba Watson is the most hated player by other PGA Tour players.
And why was that? Because he was emotional. Who cares?
Because he was emotional. Because he aimed at the crowds and then hit a ridiculous slice back at the fairway with his pink driver, which I still want.
Right. And you know what? That was fine. In hindsight, who cares?
Yeah.
He's a great player.
He wins when it counts. He's still on tour. He's been on tour forever. You get paid to sit behind a desk and don't necessarily have to prove anything on a week in, week out basis.
Right. No, 100%.
Brandel proves himself by getting ratings and being angry.
That's right.
If you want to get more Instagram views than Brandel, that's fine. You've already won more golf tournaments than him. But has encyclopedic knowledge of the golf game that I can only be jealous of. And then when it comes to things like this, he's going to outlast you because the Golf Channel is going to pay him to be around longer than you are if you start missing cuts.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. And as much as we've harped on privately about Brandel Chambly, he's forgotten more about golf than Brooks Koepka has learned at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that can't flip around. Sure, it can. At some.
I don't
point,
think it can.
But I'm saying at some point somebody's forgotten more than Brandel Chambly ever learned at some point in time. But you can't come after the guy who knows more than you. Your job as a tour player is to go out there and play golf.
No.
Brandel Chambly's job is to talk about golf. So if you're going to throw darts at his face, you better be able to back it up. Yeah. You better be able to back it up. And right now, you're doing that 3 months into a quarantine, and you haven't done anything but get a haircut and a stupid mustache. I ain't playing with that. That's stupid. I'm telling you, I hate the mustache.
No, I mean, like,
all personal.
No, it's I understand it's a bit personal for you because you hate the mustache. But what I'm like, and I'm gonna leave it at this. This is the end. I will give you your say after this. Mm-hmm. But the moment you start talking about the people who talk about golf, means that you've lost your sense of presence in the game itself. Because you should be bubble wrapped from everybody who talks about golf. You should only be worried about playing golf, being the best you can be. The moment you start worrying about these people's opinions, ourselves included, Brandel Chambly, Golf Channel, ESPN, Scott Van Pelt, whoever you want to say, is the moment you've lost your head on the 18th hole in a major when it matters, because you're going to be worried about the Golf Central. You're going to be worried about the 11 p.m. Scott Van Pelt ESPN Sports Center. You're going to be worried about the Monday morning, the Swingdom.
I hope so.
And it's just, you know what I mean? It's just one of those situations where you're not going to, he's lost his focus. I think he's worried about his knee, and I think he's lost his focus.
I'll close it out. I'll close it up for you.
I'm tired. I'm out of breath. Need more coffee.
Well, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning for you. I understand that. Listen, Brooks Koepka, just be quiet. Look, we're not getting. I know. Well, listen, we're not
on a scale
paid.
of 1 to 10. I want your noise to be 0.
Listen. We're not paid to talk about golf, but we're talking about you saying dumb things.
Can I ask you one question?
Please. I'm here to answer questions.
Okay, right now, if you were in a room with Brooks Koepka,
right,
or Patrick Reed, and you can have your picture taken with one of them in an autograph, who would it be?
Wow, Patrick Reed.
It's taking longer than I thought it was. You said Patrick Reed?
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you why it's Patrick Reed. Because Patrick Reed has cheated. In it, so says the rules of golf, but he's never backed down from the fact that he believes that he's in the right.
He plays golf.
And
that's what I mean. Like Brooks is coming across as a socialite.
Exactly.
So you got to cut that out.
Right. And so let me close this out. So what Patrick Reed has done was cheated, and he was cheated, and he cheated, and he cheated, and he was caught on camera, and he was caught by his fellow players, and he was called out for it. And Patrick Reed, all he said was, I'm playing golf. I'm not some sort of punk. What Brooks Koepka.
No, and it's like, and I'm going to go back to this, but it's relatable. Like, I don't mean to sound like when me and you play for $10,
which you never paid up on, by the way.
$650. I owe $650. I get it. We like, there's a bit of dignity, but it's also not so much money that like we're worried about it. Like, we only play golf where we're like, these guys play golf. Like Patrick Reed, the difference between second and fourth is 6 figures. And that could be a stroke. Like, if I was telling you, like, look, like, you can kick this ball out from behind the tree and you'll make 6 figures, you'd think about it. You'd think about it real hard. And people say this all the time. Like, it's interesting because golf is an independent contractor sport. Where these guys are responsible for themselves, their paychecks, their agents, their sponsors, their whatever. But you look at the Houston Astros. You look at college football, you look at Bill Belichick, the greatest of all time, and they'll tell you, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Like, you've got to be bending the rules. And so when they say you can test the sand out and he's flattening the sand out behind him, like, that's relatable to us as sports fans, because we can say to ourselves, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Well, you can also say to yourself, I don't, quote unquote, I don't know the fullest extent of this rule.
Yeah. But golf is also all about integrity, so I don't cheat.
Well, and it's all right. But it's also all about,
when you're playing with your friends, it doesn't matter. If I was playing with strangers for money, I think I'd cheat a little bit.
Well, it's also about how do you interpret the rules, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Patrick Reed does. But when it comes to Brooks Koepka, this is on a social level. This isn't
golf.
This isn't golf. It's not about a written law, so to speak. It's all about social integrity and social presence that Brooks Koepka tries to draw this line, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I can't even talk about it anymore.
I feel like we beat that to death.
Brooks, stop. All right, let's move on.
Just do what Tiger did and just get rid of your Instagram in the playoffs.
Yes. Shut everything down.
Shut it down.
Go play golf and be quiet. Come back and say, I did this or I did that, and that's it.
If you don't win 2 more majors this year, everybody's going to be talking about you on Instagram instead of practicing.
Exactly. Oh, look, Brooke, I can't talk about it. Stop.
All right.
You're reeling me in.
What's next on the news? What's next on the news?
All right. So we have Rory McIlroy, who we just watched in the driving relief.
He was teamed up with Dustin Johnson in driving relief. They won closest to the hole. If you haven't seen it yet, you'll watch it. It was a very underwhelming finish to an incredible 18 holes.
Spoiler alert. We should preface that, but we didn't.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, because that's our next segment. But Rory McIlroy is in the news recently because I don't know if you remember, but we remember because we're here in the States, that Rory McIlroy not too long ago, before all this coronavirus quarantine, played golf with Donald Trump.
2017? It was in his first year as president.
It was in his first year as president, but it kind of made the waves.
It did.
Throughout the couple years.
I know Tiger's played with him a couple of times.
Yeah, sure.
And so has a certain Mr. Kornheiser.
Rory McIlroy played with Donald Trump not too long ago. Rory McIlroy came out, President Donald Trump of the United States of America, came out, and Rory McIlroy said, look, he has handled this coronavirus pandemic poorly in the eyes of the public, in the eyes of myself, and I will most likely not be playing with Donald Trump. So Rory ever again. So Rory McIlroy has denounced playing with Donald Trump ever again over his handling of coronavirus efforts here in the United States. How do you feel about that, Ben?
So getting into the weeds.
Yeah, you get into the weeds because I have a very short answer.
Okay. So getting into the weeds, right? So in 2017, President Trump becomes president, wastes no time in playing as many rounds of golf as possible.
Right.
With celebrities, with political endorsers, with PGA pros. So he plays golf with them. And at the time, a lot of people tried to politicize his round with President Trump. At which point he said, look, I don't want to get into it. He seems like a nice enough guy. I enjoyed playing a round of golf with him. It was 4 hours. It was okay. It was golf.
Right.
We played good golf. Good. Bigly. You know what I mean? Like he didn't say anything bad. He didn't say anything good. He just said it was a round of golf with the president. It was an honor to play with the president. It was the only thing that you could have politicized about it is he very rarely said Trump. He just made it sound like he played golf with the president, which I'm sure he's played with a few presidents. I'm sure he's played with Clinton. I'm sure he's played with Obama. He may have even played with W. Bush.
Rory McIlroy is only a few months older than I am. Makes me really feel
He's younger
good.
than me by like a year and a half.
Makes me really feel good about
Your accomplishments in golf. Yeah.
Accomplishments.
No, I feel that way. I think all those guys. I'm like right at that age where I look at people who are playing professional sports, because I always sort of looked at college athletes and we're like, they look young. Even when I was in high school, I was like, those guys look young. But I always thought that professional athletes looked much older than me. And I'm at that age now where it's like, they don't even look like my peers anymore. They just look like kids. And that stings. That really stings. So back to Rory.
Rory McIlroy. Let me sum this up. George W. Bush was in office 8 years, correct?
Yeah, 2000 to 2008.
2001, he was inaugurated.
Well, the election would have been 2000.
Right, 2000 to 2008. Rory McIlroy's rookie year was 2010.
Okay. I still think there would have been some sort of celebrity tournament or some sort of like,
probably,
like when they're in Texas together on a Monday playing. Because if ex-President W. Bush invites you to play golf at his home course on a Monday, you're going.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess If
you're getting
not
the presidential treatment,
president in general, yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure they played together. Like I'm sure he played with Clinton, who was 92 to 2000. I'm sure they played together.
Would you?
Yeah, of course I would. I'd play with any sitting president. I would play with any world leader, except for maybe 3 or 4 of them. I'm not going to get into them right now. To be honest, I'd probably play with Trump.
100%. I can't.
I'd have my cell phone out. I'd be looking for him cheating.
Would I pay for anything? No, so I'm going.
No.
I love golf.
I love golf, yeah.
Let me play golf.
What if he was like, look, we can play golf, but it's got to be at Schoolhouse 9.
Fine. Am I paying for it? Am I paying for it?
No.
So
what if he was like, we're going to RTJ and you're paying for both of us?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Not a chance. If I'm paying, I'm not going. It's ridiculous.
I know that about you. Trust me.
Yeah. That's a low blow. I'm not paying.
So in the weeds. So 2017, I mean, it's before this is when everything's in great shape. Things are happening. Everything that President Trump is saying is within his wheelhouse.
Yes.
And the real weeds of this is Michael Jordan had this famous line, even Republicans buy sneakers. So when you have these mega athletes and these mega sponsorships, they've got to play their political ideas close to the vest because they don't want to be boycotted based on their political ideas. So I think it's very interesting that Rory feels comfortable enough in his own life, in his own living situation, the amount of money he makes, the sponsorships that he has, and his life on the PGA Tour, that he can actually speak out like this. So that's the gist of it. It's very interesting to see that Rory feels that he's got enough clout on the PGA, number 1 in the world, winning tournaments even when there are no tournaments. He feels like he can still talk outwardly about this. I don't feel like there are many other PGA players who would feel comfortable taking a stance on the general viewpoint of how any sitting government is handling coronavirus. All right, your short answer. That was my very long answer. Your short answer.
My short answer? Good riddance.
Good? What do you mean good riddance? What does that mean?
You know what? Don't play with them. I don't care.
Yeah, I get that.
I feel you. Look, I live in the United States.
Is this another one of these like, hey, if you want to talk about this, get on social media, but like the people who care about golf don't care.
Absolutely. Look,
Yeah.
I don't care about I don't care about your personal feelings towards Donald Trump. If you don't want to play with golf with him, don't play golf with him. But
did I get too much in the weeds?
No. You're I totally respect what you said.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of how all of this is being handled. But I will also say that we live in a country.
But I don't think anybody is.
Well, I don't know how England works, right? And that's where
Okay.
you live. So
Yeah.
I don't have a basis. Now, if I were
Oh no, it's going the
to,
same way you guys are going.
and all of our states have their own control, and they
Yeah.
basically just ask the federal government for help, and whatever. Do
Yeah.
I like the way it's going in Virginia? Yes, I do. I personally do. Do I agree with 100% of the way it's going in Virginia and how it's being handled? No. I'm also not a state or a federal leader, so it doesn't really matter. But Rory McIlroy doesn't want to play golf with Donald Trump. Fine, don't play golf with Donald Trump. Does it really matter to me? Not a whole lot,
No.
because we didn't see the last time you played golf with Donald
No,
Trump.
but like the argument
heard
isn't like
about
what the argument isn't whether or not he's going to play golf with Donald Trump. The argument is like whether or not a professional athlete who doesn't have any experience in the political world should be making a political stance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a human being, I think everybody has a foot in the political world because we all have a right to vote and be heard and have our opinions.
Mm-hmm.
Some opinions are louder than other opinions, like Rory Matt, like he's got the platform to have a louder opinion than me.
Right.
Should we discount that? No. Should he be sharing it? That's up to him. He is going to ruffle some feathers no matter which side of the aisle he's on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's interesting that somebody like Tiger Woods still doesn't have a position. Like
Right.
your boy Peyton Manning doesn't have a position. Tom Brady doesn't have, like these people who are in much more secure positions than he is, not really putting a foot into the political ring. Whereas I think it's interesting that Rory is, even though it doesn't mean a whole lot to anybody, whether or not you're in the golf world or not.
Right.
He's just saying, I mean, if he said, I don't like playing golf with President Trump because I've seen him kick a ball or two and he cheats worse than Patrick Reed, it would be more of a story to people in the golf world and people in the world in general than if it was like, yeah, you know what? I don't like the way he's handling things.
Right.
Like people don't like the way presidents handle things. If they did, then there wouldn't be any opposition and it wouldn't, you know what I mean? It would be
Right.
in some sort of other crazy world.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's my short answer one more time. I don't care.
All right, I'll back off my long answer then. We're going to head to a short break. Thank you for listening to us for as long as you have. We apologize for any inconveniences in terms of your political standpoints or your general view on golfers in general.
Mm-hmm. Generally.
Yep. We'll catch up with you guys in a second.
It's time for us to put down our bag and hear from our sponsors.
Hey, Ben.
Hey, Gunnar.
How much do you say you value your health?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would
1 to
say
10.
an 8.5.
An 8.5. Well, perfect, because you're right in the range to go and check out fnxfit.com.
Is FNX? That almost sounds like Phoenix?
It is. As a matter of fact, it is Phoenix. So if you go to FNX Fit, Phoenix Fitness, fnxfit.com, you can check out a wide variety of protein powders, of energy supplements, of recovery products, bottles to mix all that stuff up in some sweet gear. You can go there, use promo code GOLF, GOLF.
Yep. It's a good code.
It is GOLF. If you go to fnxfit.com and use the code GOLF, you get 15% off your entire order.
And you help support our podcast.
But if you order $99 worth of stuff, anything.
Stuff? You mean like products?
Products. Anything. If it's on fnxfit.com and you order $99 worth of the stuff that they've got, the products, free shipping, whatever it is.
All right.
fnxfit.com, promo code golf. Go check it out.
And now to your hosts, Ben Ridner and Gunnar Kane.
All right. So thank you for listening to our news special where we rant about golfers and things that they do. Now we're on to the action. We had live golf tonight.
My guy, we watched the TaylorMade driving relief. Oh,
yep. And it was good.
That felt so good to say. We watched something and it was live and it was brand new and it was sports.
It was full of golf.
Not only was it sports, it was full of golf. That's right. It was a golf tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So we were rooting for the same team.
Yeah, we had a blast.
But we had a difference in opinion on who was actually going to win. And
I was right.
You were right.
Yeah.
But barely.
Just, I wish I wasn't. I wish they would have said, screw it. We don't care that we're 22 minutes late. You guys put this out for birdie. So we've got Matthew Wolff and Ricky Fowler, both Oklahoma State University alumni, both PGA Tour winners, definitely coming across as the underdogs against Rory McIlroy and Dustin Johnson, both current and past OGWR number ones when it comes to golf. I know it's Golf World Rankings. What does the O stand for?
Official.
I was like, optimistically?
Obviously.
So you've got, and to be fair, when you look at it, we did the numbers last week. They're playing at Seminole Golf Course in Juneau, Florida. They're on the beach. It's a beautiful golf course. There doesn't seem to be any rough. As long as you don't miss it in the water, as long as you don't miss it on the beach, you've got a fair shot at just about whatever you're hitting it at. Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy take an early lead, and it seems like Matthew Wolff is a little bit downhearted. There's a little bit of despair, and Ricky says, "Look, this is our jam. Let's get back to it."
You know, you're right. Well, first I want to say that this is the first time we've seen Seminole on TV, and it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. You know what it reminded me of?
What?
Wale at the Sony Open.
You're not lying.
Like, it was close cut, palm trees everywhere. Like, if I can be honest,
please.
It reminded me if Wally and St. Andrews
had a baby.
Because you're on the beach, everything's wide open, it's beautiful. I think everything was Bermuda, so it was just gorgeous. Like Wally, there's not a bad view from anywhere on the course.
Right.
But when it counted, like St. Andrews, if you were in a bunker, the amount of times we saw Rory McIlroy, Ricky Fowler, Matt Wolff, like trying to see over the lips of these greenside bunkers, it reminds me of both of them put together. And I don't mean to sound like I'm exaggerating. It just, like, the waist areas reminded me of what happens when you're in the gorse. Like Matthew Wolff, I think it was 6 or 7, just couldn't get out of his own way. He's in the waist area, doesn't realize the sand's that soft, and he only puts it ahead of himself 10 yards. And you just can't do that when you're in a competition with world's number 1 and you know, in a top 5.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And you're also right that Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy came out to a firing lead.
Yeah.
In that, and that Ricky and Matthew Wolff struggled.
It took them about 5 or 6 holes to find their feet. Luckily, the first 6 holes were worth a lot less than the rest of the holes.
Yeah, and it's not even that Ricky Fowler struggled, because Ricky Fowler was really obviously the backbone of that team. Yeah. Matthew Wolff, and we talked a lot about this, that Matthew Wolff is really the one who struggled, and Ricky Fowler had to carry him for a few holes.
No, but I mean,
which was hard to watch.
Yeah, but if you look at it this way, right? Like, like Matthew Wolff, top 20 in driving distance. Like, they're bomb and gouge guys. He's got a funny swing, but everybody knows that about him.
Right.
Ricky Fowler's outside the 150. And he drives a 290, and he's still outside the 150. I mean, from the outside looking in,
Mhm.
Like you knew Ricky Fowler was going to be the backbone of that team. But you also, like, I also wasn't sure from the beginning if he was going to be able to hang with the big boys in terms of driving distance.
Right.
So, like, Ricky and Matthew Wolf were they were disadvantaged from the very, very, very beginning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it didn't really pan out that way, though, did it?
Not at all.
It wasn't like, oh, here's the world's number 1 and number 2 coming to destroy this rookie and a player who really hasn't,
And the best player not to win a major.
right, and the player who hasn't done what he was supposed to do. It was a battle back and forth, and it was an incredible golf tournament between 4 people, and this is exactly what we wanted to see.
Yeah. The only thing I really missed, and I didn't notice it until later on, is that the PGA Tour, they have towers on the greens.
Right.
So you get like super close ups of putts coming in.
Right.
And you just didn't get that because I think it was just guys with tripods trying to run around as much as they could.
I think the same thing, and it was a little different. Obviously, there wasn't any fans.
I mean, they were wearing shorts. There's no caddies. There's no fans. The head of the PGA rules officiating staff, I forget his name. I apologize for that. I mean, he's pulling the pins if any of the pins need to be pulled. He's officiating the entire thing by himself.
Right.
I think this is the future of golf.
It was awesome.
I think it's the future of golf. I think real golf fans want to see the top 10 players in the world hitting every single shot. Like there's a ton of water on Seminole, and DJ was the only person to put in the water. He put in the water on 18. And then the only disappointment to me is that they finished it with the closest to the pin.
Yeah, and it was, like we kind of hinted to earlier, it was within, I really want to say it was within a foot.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And
I'd say 6 inches is too close, but I think it was within a foot. I think if you pace those two out, you sort of had like 9 and 10.5 feet, maybe 11 feet. And Rory raises his hands from the tee box like he knows he's closer, but you never know who's closest to the pin until you're actually on the green.
They don't measure it on camera. And that would have been nice to see. That's the only real knock I have. Now, what I will say though is going back to Matthew Wolf, is that Matthew Wolf really found his own in this tournament. And even on 16, I mean, just smokes driver off the tee and
into
walks
that
over to
bunker.
No. Farther than that, walks over.
No, he puts it in the greenside bunker. It's like 450 yards. He puts it in the greenside bunker. He's
not that long, but
he crushes it.
Yeah, and walks over to Dustin Johnson and just actually flexes at him.
I remember that was brilliant. That was the move of the day.
Pulls up his sleeve and flexes at Dustin Johnson.
Are those my muscles? Are my muscles that strong?
Are these? I'm sorry. Are you the tour's longest driver on average? Because I just drove past you 50 yards.
Did you do 1,000 push-ups? Because I just did 1,010.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Are you getting weak, old man?
Yeah. My God! If Wolf walked up to him and said, "Yo, beat that old man," I would have died. I would have died. He's like, "I'm 33. Like I'm 34. Like I'm like, stop it." He's like,
"Yeah,
you're old. You're an old man. What are you and VJ? Why don't you and VJ Single play on the Corn Ferry Tour and leave us young kids to it?"
Champions Tour's calling, buddy. Yeah, exactly. No, it was fantastic.
Oh my God, that'd be absurd. Yeah.
No, but it was. And you know what? We were talking earlier in the match that, this is a real thing for Matthew Wolf, where he's gotta step up and show the veterans, because they're all veterans now.
Yeah.
Show the veterans that he belongs on the tour.
No, I mean,
I know
do you want me to talk about that a little bit?
Well, yeah. Let me just say real quick that I know this is just a silly little money game, but for Matthew Wolff, it does
Yeah.
mean something bigger. And for
Yeah,
him
of
to
course.
find his own and go and
Yeah.
actually flex on Dustin Johnson,
Yeah.
arguably the most consistent player on tour, was a thing.
Not only
of
that, like
art.
he's been the face of long driving for 10 years.
Absolutely.
For 10 years, he's been the face of long driving, of bomb and gouge. Like Phil Mickelson looks to Dustin Johnson and says, yeah, I want to do it like that guy does.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to be, but you know what I mean? We discussed it, like, what I was going to say is we discussed this a little bit on Hot Mic, is that, like, Tiger Woods showed up at a time where golfers were like, it's my finesse is what gets me through it, not my fitness. Finesse is more important than fitness. Tiger shows up and says, no, like scoring, like if you're fit enough to make it through 72, you've got to, like, you can win it based on fitness alone. You can drive it further, you can drive it further. You can, you're looking at shorter shots in. I mean, they started Tiger proofing everything. The generation of golfers our age, late 20s, early 30s, they're sitting there going, if I as a golfer, I need to be an athlete. Right. And I think there's this new generation of golfers, Bryson DeChambeau sort of taking the leap and being the extreme version of this. But Matthew Wolff, you've got Victor Hovland, John Rahm, I sort of consider in this boat. Like, they're like, if I can drive it 350 yards on a 400-yard par 4, like, I can chip it out of any length rough onto the green. If I'm on the green, I've got a shot at birdie. Like, that's the mentality they have.
Right.
And I think you're right. I think Matthew Wolff played in this tournament and said, like, come get me, old man.
Yeah.
And he came very, very, very close to seeing the passing of the torch.
Well, and you know what? I mean, I know that, spoiler alert, Ricky and Wolf did not win this match. But
they should have. They should have putted out on 17 on that closest to the pin. They should have taken the extra 10 minutes.
Walked up.
I mean, you're on NBC Sports. You're on NBC Golf Channel. Like, millions of people have tuned in to watch golf, and you're gonna leave it at a closest to the pin where people are that close to each other.
I know. To be fair, NBC was airing American Ninja Warrior before this, so you could have just ran a little bit longer. But
we could have skipped a half an hour. You could have pushed American Ninja Warrior an extra hour, and I would have been okay with that.
Right. Honestly, what were they showing after this? American football. But what I'm saying is I think you didn't not see, if I could use a double negative, I think you saw the passing of the torch here to Matthew Wolff and Victor Hovland.
I'm not sure yet. I mean, the interesting thing was, okay, let's get back to the golf.
Yes.
Rory and DJ make a strong start. They win the first 5 or 6 holes pretty much outright. What happens from hole 6 to hole 7 is that the skins go from $50,000 to $100,000. So then when Ricky and Matthew Wolff take the holes from 6 to 12, they take a commanding lead because all the holes are worth double. Which, the amount of confidence they had going into the back 9, 11 through 17 was incredible. But I think you had the veteran players there and Rory and DJ who said, okay, everything's worth 100,000. 17 is worth 200,000. 18 is worth 500,000. So if we're within 500,000, the 18th hole makes all the difference.
Well, the 18th hole ended up being $1.1 million.
Yeah, because the skins racked up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's just what happens in a skins game. But it's one of those things, like Ricky and the Wolf had every opportunity to close it. Between 15 and 17, they had opportunities to close it out. They didn't need to wait till 18. They did great jobs of saving pars and keeping in contention and staying and making Rory and DJ work for it. But if they had won any of those holes, it would have been over.
Well, I'm 100% on board that I think Matthew Wolff is the new regime. I
But I
think you saw
don't.
this with Ricky
Yeah,
Fowler. I think
I'm
you saw this with Jason Day. I think you saw this with Justin Thomas.
okay.
This is kind of the new regime in
And
golf.
so for me, there's like, I understand like the new regime, which is like these guys are going to be at the forefront of all of the advertising.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Tiger Woods. I'm talking about Steph Curry. I'm talking about Tom Brady.
I got you.
Like Tom Brady was like, I can win a game throwing it between 5 and 15 yards. I can control the clock. I can win the game. Steph Curry was like, I mean, you see the charts between Michael Jordan's NBA championships and Steph Curry's NBA championships. And it's like 80% of the shots are beyond the 3-point line, whereas before that, 80% of the shots were like within 15 to 20 feet.
Right.
Like Tiger changed the game.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think that Matthew Wolff is going to change the game, but I think what he did here was proof that, yeah, he could hang. And I know he's already won on tour.
I think this is the door opening to him changing the game.
Right. I'm not
I
saying
think I think Tiger's saying this is what fitness is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Matthew Wolff is going to say in the next year or two, this is what distance is. And that's going like almost
okay, I see.
Almost like I think Brooks is on the fringes of it. But I think this next generation of Matthew Wolff, Victor Hovland, John Rahm are going to put guys like Zach Johnson, Bubba Watson, Webb Simpson, Adam Scott out of business because they're just not going to be able to hang with the distance because it's going to be 320
right.
to 350.
All right, so let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this because I put this out on Instagram today.
Okay.
And I know the answers from our followers, Instagram at the Swingdom. Out of the four, okay, Dustin Johnson, Rory McIlroy, Ricky Fowler, and Matthew Wolff. Out of the four of them, who's the next player to win a major championship? With all that being said, who wins the major championship first? Because Dustin Johnson has won. Rory McIlroy's won a bunch of them. Ricky Fowler, we both agree, is the best player on tour who hasn't won a major championship. And with this,
there's a difference between who I want it to be and who I think it's going to be. Is that okay?
Yeah, but let's preface this on who you think it's going to be with this new show of Matthew Wolff.
I think it's going to be Rory.
Okay, that's what everybody else says.
Like I just think Rory's like he's in a position. He's in like everything outside of the golf world came together, so now he can focus on the golf world, and that's where it's going to be. What I saw today, like if I am 90%, if I'm 60% sure it's going to be Rory, I am 40% sure it's going to be Ricky because the amount of poise that he has, the amount of patience that he has.
Oh, absolutely.
2017 coming in the top 5 in all 4 majors.
All 4.
For the first time in PGA history, or I think like since like the 60s or 70s. His best days just aren't as good as everybody else's best days.
Right. I totally agree. And before we close this out, because I know we're running a little long here.
Yeah.
If it was 2 Rory McIlroys, or I'm sorry, 2 Ricky Fowlers playing against Rory McIlroy and Dustin Johnson, who wins? If it's 2 Ricky Fowlers.
And that's a great point. Like they obviously brought Matthew Wolff in because they wanted a second Ricky Fowler. But
so from what I saw,
the amount of poise that Ricky Fowler had throughout the entire 18 holes didn't lose it. Like this is the bomb and gouge thing that like I wish guys like Zach Johnson, Ricky Fowler, Webb Simpson, like I wish those guys won more in and out just to say that, look, like an average of 290 off the tee or 295 off the tee, if you can control it for those extra like 40 yards, you're still winning out here.
Right.
The problem is we watch 18 holes of golf and the amount of times They had iron in from less than 120 yards. They had wedge in from 120 yards on 450 to 500 yard par fours. It was just obscene. It was obscene. Yeah. Like, that's just not regular golf.
They're too good. At least for that golf course. Look, this is my opinion on it. Rory McIlroy and Dustin Johnson didn't stand a chance if it was to Ricky Fowler's.
No.
And so what I'm gonna.
Well, we've talked about this on the podcast before. Like,
yeah,
if me and you played basketball on a 10-foot hoop, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you made the NBA play on 13 or 14-foot hoops, like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's like. When we play 65 to 7,200 yards, like, that's hard, but it's fair. Like, if these guys play 10,000 yards, I wouldn't be mad. like if these guys are playing 500 yard and 510, 550 yard par fours where they're hitting hybrids into par fours.
Yep.
I'd be okay with that. Like, Dustin Johnson puts a par 5, there's a par 5. He hits, I forget which one it is. He puts a hybrid over the green. Like, it's just like, you're hitting it 300 plus out there. You've got 220 left. You know, it's a 600 yard par 5. And these guys are still chipping it onto the green from 10, 15 yards out. Like, it's a different game. It's a different game, and it should be acknowledged as a different game. And it should be, if you're aspiring for that, that's fantastic. But I think guys like me and you need to I need to realize, in order for us to play golf like that, we need to put in 8 hours a day, 300 days a year.
It's a full-time job.
Or we just say, look, my version of golf at 65 to 6,700 yards is fun. And that's what we do.
Well, that's the difference between pros and amateurs.
It still makes me mad.
Right. All right. Well, Ricky and Matthew Wolff lose the match in closest to the pin.
Which they still, we talk about, but we'll probably talk about this again. They should have putted out. They should have said, NBC Sports Network, golf is more important than whatever you've got on next. If it's an extra hour, it's just better ratings for you.
Right. Yeah, so they end up losing to Rory and Dustin, which were the favorites, but just barely, and that's okay. Ricky Fowler was definitely the backbone of his team, but not to the detriment of Matthew Wolff's abilities. We think we've seen to
lose on a closest on the pin isn't really losing, is it?
No, it's really not.
I think Matthew Wolff is going to get. I think Matthew Wolff is going to get the most out of this.
Yeah, no, he is definitely, keep an eye on Matthew Wolff.
Yeah, I think he'll be world number 1 in the next 10 years.
He's really good, and there's a reason to pay attention to him.
I think he'll be world number 1 before Jon Rahm becomes world number 1.
I think so too. I'm willing to put money on that. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
We're off to a commercial break.
Yep.
All right.
It's time for us to put down our bag and hear from our sponsors.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Swingdom. If you like golf but also happen to be a fan of history, you should check out History Through a House. It's the history of England through the eyes of a 1,000-year-old house. We're also doing one called Legendary.
That podcast is awesome.
Which is about legendary stories.
Mm-hmm. No, Legendaries is a really cool podcast. I was listening to it today, as a matter of fact. It's
what is it?
Tall Tales. It's legends.
So check out Legendary. It is the origin stories of legends that you may or may not have heard about. Legendary is the podcast for you. So please check it out on a podcasting platform near you, along with History of a House. We'll be back to the Swingdom in a second.
And now to your hosts, Ben Ridner and Gunnar Kane.
We've got an email.
Yeah.
Hey, Gunnar, guess what?
What?
We've got an email.
Sweet.
Yep. It says, hey, guys. Firstly, great podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've been listening since the first episode and always make time at the start of the week for a new episode. It's great listening when I'm practicing on my homemade poor man simulator driving setup.
I love it.
There's no such thing. If you can practice golf, it's a rich man setup. Just keep practicing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question that will hopefully be fun for you to answer on a pod. You ready for this?
Yep.
All right. If you had a choice to play any course with anybody you could, past or present, golfer, celebrity, or just a normal person, what course would it be? Who would it be? And where are you taking them for a beer afterwards? Keep up the good work. Adam, also known as Mug Dad. Thank you. Thank you, Mug Dad. I know I've mentioned him a few times on the pod. He's a friend of mine. I appreciate you sending us an email. Do you want to answer this first?
Yes. Let me go with this.
Do you know this already? Is this one of those things you know already?
Yep.
Okay. Go for it.
So I'm going to Augusta National.
Okay.
And I'm playing with Phil Mickelson.
Yep.
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
And Peyton Manning.
Okay.
And then afterwards, we're going to the DNVR bar, which is across the entire country.
I was going to say, are you guys taking Michael Jordan's private jet?
Yes, absolutely,
cool.
100%. Any one of their private jets. We're going to the DMVR bar in Denver, Colorado, and we are going to get on some Breckenridge brews, probably some Strawberry Skies, subtle plug there, and they're delicious. And we're going to have a great time. So I already knew this one. This was easy peasy lemon squeezy for me.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those things where it's like, if you can play with anybody, anywhere, like for me, first, I think of sort of camaraderie.
Right.
Right. Like, I don't know that I would like any celebrities in person.
Sure.
That's just me. Like, I would rather make it a once in a lifetime emotional journey that I can have with family and friends.
Oh, I feel you.
So, like, first of all, you'd be there.
Thank you.
You'd be there. We'd be having a blast. Second of all, probably my Uncle Steve would be there.
Uncle Steve, shout out.
Uncle Steve, shout out. I don't know if he better start listening to this.
Hurry up.
He'd be there. He's taken me on more of my golf journey than probably any individual. Anytime I'm home in New Jersey, we play golf together. We have fun. We challenge each other. It's a good time. If my dad could be my caddy, I'd have him be my caddy, because he doesn't love golf like we love golf. Like my Uncle Steve loves golf. Like he likes the history of it. He likes the interaction. He likes the sort of sportsmanship of it all, but he just doesn't have the patience to swing a club at a ball and try to put it in a hole, which I understand.
Right.
Like you have to love that to want to do it. So if 100%. I can have my dad as my caddy and not play, but just there to experience it, I'd probably also have my buddy Andrew Mallon. Should I say his full name on the podcast? Is that inappropriate?
If you want to. I've played with him. He's awesome.
But if it's a once in a lifetime opportunity,
oh yeah, I get you.
It'd be family and friends at Augusta or at St. Andrews, but probably St. Andrews, because I think it's just a lot more relaxed. We're not worried about who's watching us off the tee. We're not worried about people watching us make divots, burying a putter into the seventh, green, hoping nobody sees that.
Right.
And then I think we do a bar crawl through all of St. Andrews. I think there'd be old Tom Morris's place or whatever it's called, but we'd try to hit every pub in St. Andrews all night.
That's right. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go right now.
People need to tip us more on hot mics so we can get this going.
Yeah, that's right.
My dream foursome is a totally relaxed drinking round for no money, bragging rights only at the old course. And, we may do this. We may do this soon. Hopefully, if this becomes even slightly successful, I think we may do a weekend at the old course, and anybody who wants to can come and join us.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Which would be phenomenal.
That's right.
Yep. So thank you, Adam Mugdad, for sending us that email.
That's right. Thank you.
Looking forward to getting drunk with you in St. Andrews for as long as you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you guys for listening to the Swingdom.
Check us out on Instagram and Twitter at the Swingdom. Check us out on Facebook, and follow us, like us, review us, show us some love. We'll show you some love back. Send us some emails at theswingdomofgolf.com. Or
we've got the website. Yeah, I was gonna say,
right.
we've got the website coming out soon. We've got the YouTube channel on its way. Please send us emails. Please let us know what you want to hear, what you're thinking about, what questions you might have. And don't forget to tell your friends to follow us on any podcasting platform.
That's right. Sorry for the jumping around there. It's pretty late for the both of us.
Oh yeah, it is 2 a.m. for me here in the UK because I'm trying to record this after we watch golf. So it's gonna be late nights for me on Sunday, but it's worth it because it's golf and it's you guys and it's golf.
And with 2 little kids in my house, 9:00 in the evening is about 2 a.m. So we are getting off of here.
Yep.
And we're going to actually be bringing you some more podcasts with some interviews and stuff. So check out for that.
Please check us out. We should have a second podcast this week. We're interviewing your brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Who went to the Quicken Loans Open with us.
That's right. He is a Marine veteran for the United States Marines.
No, but what is he really?
He is obsessed with golf is really what he is. So we're gonna be talking to him a little bit about his journey to golf, and where he wants to go with that and get his takes on things.
So that's perfect. Thank you guys for listening to the Swingdom. We'll catch you guys next week.
See you guys.
You've been listening to The Swingdom. Remember, we're just 2 guys, 28 clubs, 0 putts given.